Hello students, welcome to another Storytown vocabulary lesson. This is the flipped lesson for vocab lesson 18. To complete this activity, you will need your vocab sheet, a pen or a pencil, and optionally a highlighter. As always, here are the directions. First, watch and listen to this presentation on your own. Feel free to pause and go back as needed. Then, write the definition or meaning of each word. Finally, write a brief response to each question that goes along with the vocabulary word. Are you ready to get started? Let's go! Our first word is beacon, which is a noun when you use it in a sentence. Remember that a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. In this case, beacon is usually a thing, but sometimes it's used a little abstractly and is an idea. Either way, it's a noun when it's used in a sentence. The definition of beacon is something that serves as a signal or warning. If I wanted to use the word beacon in a sentence, I might say, the beacon of light from the lighthouse guided the boats safely into the harbor. What symbol or object do you think is a beacon of hope for Americans? Give this question some thought and then write your response on your vocab sheet. The next word on our list this week is clamor. Depending on the sentence, clamor can be used as a noun or as a verb, action word. The definition of clamor is a loud, confusing, angry noise. So I might use clamor in a sentence this way. The crowd of protesters clamored for the governor's attention when he was about to sign a controversial bill into law. In that case, the word clamor was used as a verb. Now think about this sentence. At what time might people clamor for something at a store? Write your response on your vocab sheet. The next word on the list this week is coincidence. We can tell that coincidence is a noun because it has one of the common noun endings at the end. "-ence" is often used as a noun suffix. A coincidence is when two things happen by accident at the same time, but they seem to be connected. So for example, I might say, it was quite a coincidence when I ran into my neighbor while I was away on vacation. Now, think about this question. If a soccer player wears a lucky charm during a game, what might happen coincidentally? Write your response on the vocab sheet. Our next word this week is disturbance. Disturbance also ends with that noun ending. In this case, it's "ance". If we wanted to use the word disturbance as a verb or action word, we would just take that noun suffix off of the end, and we would have the word disturb. The definition of disturbance is something that disrupts or interferes with a peaceful situation. So to use the word disturbance in a sentence, I could say, the ambulance caused a disturbance in the middle of the night when it blared its sirens as it went down the street. Now, think about this question. What are some disturbances that might happen at home while you are doing homework? Give it some thought and write down your answer. The next word on our list this week is a verb or action word, enthralled. Let's look at the definition. Enthralled means when something is completely holding your interest or attention. So let's think about it this way. The boy was enthralled with the mystery novel and couldn't put it down until he solved it. Now think about this question. What types of toys might enthrall an infant? Write down your response on the vocab sheet. The next word on the list this week is marvel. You may have heard this word before when referring to a certain comic book company, and maybe now when you learn the definition, you'll realize the reason why they named their company Marvel. Marvel can be a noun or a verb in a sentence. If you wanted to use the word marvel as an adjective, you have to add the "ous" adjective suffix to the end. Marvel means filled with wonder or astonishment. In a sentence, you might use marvel like this. The tourists marveled at the sunrise over the Grand Canyon because it was more spectacular than they could have imagined. Now, in the vocab box, draw a picture of a person's face when they are marveling at something. Number 7 on our list this week is the word objections. We can tell that objections is a noun because it has a common noun suffix at the end, ION. If we wanted to use the word objections as a verb, we would pronounce it object. Note that this is a different word than object, even though they're spelled the same way. The stress is on a different syllable. Objections means the reasons why you do not like or agree with something. So, for example, your parents might say that they have objections for getting you a new phone because it's expensive or because they question your responsibility or trustworthiness. Now think about this question. What objections might a person have about driving a car when it's late at night? Write your response on your vocab sheet. We've come to the last word on the list for this week, persisted. Persisted is a verb or action word in a sentence. The definition of persisted is continued to do or believe something for a long time, even if it was difficult. Maybe some of you have had this experience. The girl persisted in practicing her multiplication facts, even though it took her a lot longer than her classmates to memorize them. Now think about this question. Why might someone have to persist to achieve a goal? Write your response on your vocab sheet. We've come to the end of another lesson, so what's next? First, go back to review any words you do not understand. Please highlight or circle any words you still have questions about, and we will discuss them in class. Next, be ready to play a review game in class using these words. Then, you will read and understand stories that use these vocabulary words throughout the week. Finally, you will use each word in an original sentence, and this will be your end-of-week quiz. Be sure you have this assignment completed on time and turn it in by the due date. We'll see you next week.